Have waited 100 years since 1916 for this photograph.
It is a region. Black holes might just be one of the most fascinating and mysterious phenomena in the universe. They are massive beasts in terms of power, but at the same time, virtually invisible to us.
And a black hole weighing perhaps 2 to 4 million times the mass of the sun.
But because of the research that was put into them over the last couple of decades, we've gone from knowing absolutely nothing about them to getting to learn more and more, up close and personal. And well, things have just gotten crazier. Michio Kaku just announced that we've finally gotten a look at what's inside a black hole, and this new information brings light to the details the world of science might have missed all along. Join us as we dig deeper into black holes and unveil what's inside space's big bad.
Hey, did you get the Google 5 phone plan yet?
A little busy right now. Trying to focus.
Oh, their plans have...
Before we get into the details of what Michio Kaku found, we have to talk about the firsts. Even though most of us have some idea what black holes are, there are still some gaps in the right information. You see, in 1916, Albert Einstein published his theory of general relativity, which predicted the existence of black holes. At that time, the concept of black holes was purely theoretical. It took another 50 years for the scientific community to find evidence that black holes actually exist. This happened in the 1960s. They were studying the Cygnus constellation when they noticed an oddly bright blue star that was emitting X-rays. This star wasn't a stagnant object, but was going around a giant black something. Upon further investigation, it was found that the X-rays weren't just moving around on their own, but they were being sucked into the black thing they were orbiting. Thus the name black hole. This discovery was significant because it provided proof that black holes actually exist and that we're just a figment of Albert Einstein's wild imagination. While that was great, it also meant that there was this unreal entity in space that we urgently needed to know more about. So researchers all around the world got to work. This black hole was named Cygnus X1, and it is located in the constellation Cygnus, about 6,000 light-years from Earth, and it was no small discovery. It's about 14 times brighter than the Sun and incredibly dense, which causes it to have a strong gravitational pull. The gravitational pull is so strong that not even light can escape it. This is why it is called a black hole. The concept of a black hole is both fascinating and terrifying. It is a region of space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. Anything that gets too close to a black hole will be pulled into it, never to be seen again. But that aspect of danger makes it even more necessary to learn everything there is to know about them. Was this it? Or were we just beginning? The answer ended up being the latter. After the discovery of Cygnus X1, scientists started to search for other black holes. They found that there may be close to over 100 million black holes in the Milky Way alone, but because they are so incredibly hard to detect, we still don't have an exact number. Nevertheless, from the looks of it, there are several million black holes in the Milky Way, in our very galaxy, which is what makes them even more important to study. So let's break it down. The main concern with black holes is always going to be gravity. Their gravitational pull is so intense that anything that enters it compresses down astronomically until it becomes a singularity. In simpler terms, black holes are like cosmic vacuum cleaners that suck everything in. One of the scariest parts about the research that's gone into black holes is the fact that if someone were to fall into one, they would get stretched to the point that they become a single line. This process would happen slowly, and the person would die before the final form actually sets in. So let's just say that no one should be stepping into one. But they're all over, so could we really be in danger? Despite the fact that the closest black hole to Earth is 1,500 light-years away, it's still close enough to bring up questions and concerns. In 2021, scientists were able to release the first clear photograph of a black hole, specifically the M87 black hole. This black hole was photographed several nights in a row, and with each photograph, the researchers gathered more and more evidence about it. They had to stitch the individual photos together to create something that filled all the gaps. This way, they were able to figure out that there are 3 layers to a black hole. It's not just one single gaping hole of nothingness, as many people believe. Things are a lot more complicated than that. To even get to the nothingness part of a black hole, you have to make it through the first two layers. The first layer is called the event horizon, which, while in the first layer, it's the point of no return. Once you pass the event horizon, there's no turning back, and you will be sucked into the black hole. It only gets worse from there on out. The second layer is the photon sphere, which is the region where light orbits the black hole. Any light that enters this region will be trapped and will not be able to escape the black hole's gravitational pull. Finally, we come to the third layer, which is the singularity. This is where everything that enters the black hole gets compressed down astronomically until it becomes a singularity. The singularity is a point in space-time where the laws of physics as we know them break down, and we just can't predict what happens next. At the singularity, the density is infinite, and the laws of physics as we know them cease to exist. Now, what makes all of this infinitely worse is the fact that every single black hole you study will be entirely different from the last. Sure, they do tend to follow the same three-layer concept, but the way they function could be vastly different. Now, if this were anything else, all we'd need to do is hop back on those telescopes and just study the problem at hand in detail. But with black holes, you can't really do that. Scientists can only study black holes indirectly by observing the radiation they emit and the gas and dust that surrounds them. Sending a probe like the Voyager inside a black hole is not possible because anything that enters the event horizon is pulled towards the singularity, where it is compressed to an infinitely small point. So you can't exactly waste billions of dollars just to get a glimpse every time, because the second the probe gets close enough, it'll just crush into nothingness. Because of that glaring problem, scientists are left with no option but to study these objects in a two-dimensional way, even though they are three-dimensional phenomena in reality. To make matters even more challenging, there are also the two problems of every black hole being unique, and the laws of physics as we know them breaking down when we try to explore the inside. This means that the traditional methods of scientific inquiry don't really apply to the study of black holes. That doesn't mean that the researchers haven't been busy. There are lots of different theories and explanations of black holes, and well, with each one, things get more and more interesting. One of the most compelling theories about the formation of black holes is that they are created from collapsed stars. When a star exhausts all of its fuel, it can no longer produce enough energy to counteract the force of gravity that is constantly pulling inward. As a result, the star begins to collapse in on itself, becoming smaller and denser as it does so. If the star is massive enough, this process can continue until it becomes a singularity. To understand the nature of black holes in depth, NASA scientists turned their attention to the core of the galaxy, M87. Astronomers observed a super-powerful whirlpool of super-hot hydrogen gas that was spinning at an astonishing rate of 1.2 million miles per hour. The sheer force of this spinning disk of gas should have caused it to violently fly apart in all directions, but it didn't. Scientists deduced that there had to be a colossal mass concentrated at the center of the galaxy to prevent this from happening. This massive object weighed as much as 2 to 3 billion suns and could only be a black hole. But that's not the only theory where black holes spin. In 1963, the New Zealand mathematician Roy Kerr used Einstein's equations of gravity to provide the best description of a spinning black hole. Kerr showed that a spinning black hole wouldn't collapse into a point, as previously thought, but to a ring of fire or a thin disk. The disk would be spinning so rapidly that centrifugal forces would keep it from collapsing. This spinning disk of matter is called the ergosphere, and it is the region surrounding the black hole where the laws of physics start to break down. But the most intriguing feature of Kerr's solution was that it predicted the existence of an Einstein-Rosen bridge, also known as a wormhole. This is a theoretical passage through space-time that connects two separate regions of the universe, or even two parallel universes. The idea is that if one were to fall into a black hole, instead of being crushed to oblivion, one would be sucked down a tunnel through the ring of fire and shot out a white hole in a parallel universe. To understand how this works, we need to look at the concept of space-time. In Einstein's theory, space and time are not separate entities but are interconnected, forming a four-dimensional fabric called space-time. Objects with mass warp this fabric, creating a gravitational field that causes other objects to move towards them. Now imagine a sheet of paper representing space-time. If you place 2 points on the paper and draw a line between them, this is a representation of how objects move through space-time. But what if you could fold the paper in half and create a shortcut between the 2 points? This is the basic idea behind a wormhole. It's a shortcut through space-time that connects 2 distant points in an instant. Wormholes aren't just a sci-fi concept. They are actually a prediction of general relativity, although no one has ever observed one directly. The reason is that wormholes are inherently unstable and would collapse almost immediately. But the existence of an Einstein-Rosen bridge would mean that black holes are not just cosmic vacuum cleaners, but could also be portals to other regions of space-time. So, could we use a wormhole to travel through space and time? Unfortunately, the answer is probably no. Not yet, anyway. Even if we could stabilize a wormhole, it's unlikely that we could use it to travel faster than light. Einstein's theory of special relativity predicts that the speed of light is an absolute limit on how fast anything can travel through space-time. But even then, the theory of wormholes and black holes as pathways to other parts of the universe or even to different times has been a subject of fascination and speculation among physicists for decades. The idea that there might be shortcuts through the fabric of space-time, allowing travel through great distances or even into the past, could possibly be revolutionary if we could actually achieve it. One of the most intriguing concepts in this area of study is the Kerr wormhole, which is named after the mathematician Roy Kerr, who first described it using Einstein's equations of gravity. This type of wormhole is essentially a hypothetical tunnel through space-time that could connect 2 distant points, such as 2 different universes or even 2 different times within the same universe. The Kerr wormhole is often visualized as a ring-shaped portal, similar to the looking glass in the story of Alice in Wonderland. Walking through the looking glass transported Alice to a world where animals spoke in riddles, and logic didn't always apply. In the same way, passing through the Kerr ring could potentially transport a traveler to another universe or another time, where the laws of physics might be very different from those we are familiar with. But at the destination, that could just be normal. While the idea of wormholes as a means of interstellar travel or time travel is certainly exciting, as we've glossed over before, it's also a subject of controversy and debate among physicists. Some have pointed out that wormholes, and particularly Kerr wormholes, might be unstable or impossible to traverse due to the intense radiation and subatomic forces surrounding their entrance. The critics argue that Einstein's equations of gravity, which are used to describe wormholes and black holes, only work for gravity and not the quantum forces that govern radiation and subatomic particles. In order to truly understand the nature of these phenomena, a new theory is needed that can unite the laws of gravity with the quantum theory of radiation. Throughout the world of science, this is called a theory of everything, a single theory that can unite both Einstein's theory of gravity and the quantum theory. Michio Kaku, who's a renowned theoretical physicist, has been working on a theory of everything for decades, too. While there are lots of different versions of what this could be, the only one that has shown promise is superstring theory. Superstring theory unites gravity with the theory of radiation. The theory proposes that subatomic particles are actually tiny vibrating strings, and that the universe is a symphony of these strings. Just as different musical notes correspond to different vibrations of a violin string, different particles in nature correspond to different vibrations of a superstring. One of the fascinating things about superstring theory is that as a string moves in time, it warps the fabric of space around it, producing black holes, wormholes, and other exotic solutions of Einstein's equations. This means that superstring theory not only unites Einstein's theory of gravity with the quantum theory, but it also explains many of the mysterious phenomena that we observe in the universe. But there's something about this theory that really throws a wrench into how simple it might sound at first, but in a way makes more sense too. The superstring theory requires 10 dimensions of space-time in which the strings can vibrate. This is quite different from the 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time that we experience in our everyday lives. It's difficult to imagine what these extra dimensions might be like, but physicists have developed some conceptual models that can help us understand. Consider a two-dimensional pond, inhabited by fish that are only aware of the dimensions of length and width. To these fish, there is no such thing as height, and they can't even imagine what it might be like to live in a three-dimensional world. But if rain falls on the pond and causes ripples, the fish can see the effects of the third dimension, even if they can't actually experience it directly. Similarly, physicists believe that we can't see the extra dimensions of space-time directly, but we can observe their effects on the world that we experience. In particular, the vibrations of the strings in superstring theory can produce waves of energy that travel through the extra dimensions of space-time. These waves can manifest themselves as particles with different properties, such as mass and charge. In this way, superstring theory can potentially explain all of the particles and forces that we observe in the universe, including gravity. But there is a catch. The extra dimensions of space-time that superstring theory requires are so small that we can't really study them directly. The most precise measurements that we can make in our laboratories only use the four dimensions of space-time that we are familiar with: length, width, depth, and time. So how can we even know that the extra dimensions exist? One possibility is that the extra dimensions are curled up so tightly that they are invisible to us. Imagine a sheet of paper that has been tightly rolled up into a cylinder. If you were an ant walking along the surface of the paper, you might not even notice that the paper is curved. Similarly, the extra dimensions of space-time in superstring theory could be curled up into tiny loops or spirals that are invisible to us, even though they affect the behavior of the strings that vibrate in them. Another possibility is that the extra dimensions were more visible at the beginning of the universe, during the Big Bang.
¿Te has antojado de una hamburguesa con sabor de parrilla al carbón, tocino hickory y comeback sauce? En vez de prender el grill, este verano puedes prender el motor de tu coche y diríjase a Sonic. New Sonic Griller. Sonic.
According to some versions of superstring theory, the universe began in a state of 10-dimensional space-time, with all of the dimensions equally visible. As the universe expanded and cooled, the extra dimensions began to collapse and curl up, leaving us with the four dimensions that we observe today. If this scenario is correct, then we might be able to detect traces of the extra dimensions around us. The mathematics involved in superstring theory is incredibly complex.
Leanna Lynn
complex. It's opened up entirely new areas of mathematics that were previously unexplored. However, the challenge of solving the problem of a quantum black hole has proven to be an elusive one. While many physicists have tried to tackle this problem, no one has yet been able to do so. Edward Witten of the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton has called superstring theory 21st century physics that fell accidentally into the 20th century. Last year, several groups of physicists independently announced a significant breakthrough. They found that string theory could completely solve the problem of a quantum black hole, although only in 2 dimensions, not 10. Many physicists believe that it's only a matter of time before someone cracks this problem, given that the equations involved are well-defined, if difficult to solve. Until then, it's still too early to buy tickets for intergalactic travel or time-traveling expeditions, at least when it comes to black holes. With all of this, one thing is clear. There are simply too many questions, and even more solutions to these problems. Michio Kaku has explained how one would really know what's the real answer to all the crazy theories. He said that it's important to note that the problem of infinite answers isn't unique to string theory. In fact, many great theories have an infinite number of solutions. For example, Newton's laws can predict the motion of various objects, from rocks to rocket ships, but you need to specify what it is you're trying to explain before you can predict its motion. These specifications are called initial conditions. Similarly, in string theory, you need to tell the theory what it's describing. But unlike other theories, the initial conditions of string theory are the Big Bang itself. This means that you have to specify the conditions of the Big Bang at the instant it was created, which are currently unknown. There are a couple of ways to approach this problem. One possibility is to experimentally find the initial conditions at the instant of the Big Bang, and then let string theory describe how the universe evolves from there. There are already solutions of string theory that describe the evolution of our universe since the Big Bang, based on some reasonable estimates of its nature. This is a significant achievement. Another more ambitious path is to demand that string theory selects its own initial conditions. That one is a little more complicated and less likely too. So in a way, we've already narrowed things down significantly. But here, Michio Kaku puts another spin on it all. Maybe the Big Bang wasn't really all that big after all. He says it wasn't a massive explosion as many might think. It also didn't make a loud noise like one might expect from a bang. The Big Bang theory doesn't provide an explanation for what caused the supposed bang or how it occurred. It simply states that it did happen. The truth is, we need a theory that can account for what happened before the Big Bang. This is where string theory comes in. According to this theory, our universe might have been formed from the collision of 2 separate universes, or it could have emerged from another universe like a baby being born from its mother. This connection between universes is called a wormhole, which is like a tube connecting 2 bubbles. It's possible that we may have already discovered evidence of this umbilical cord that connected our universe to another. In a way, we could just be living inside a black hole this whole time but not know it. Think about it. Because we exist in 4 dimensions and can't see anything beyond it, it's possible that we're actually in a black hole, and the black holes we're studying are actually wormholes to these other dimensions. Do you think there could be truth to that theory? Let us know in
Introducing the Grip 6 belt, the only belt on the market with a no gut pinch guarantee. The Grip.
If you are walking home alone by yourself at night in Chicago and a car rolls up and rolls down the window and someone inside the car, unmarked car, beater of a car, asks if you need a ride, do not get in that car. This is now...
What is this, a filter for stupidity? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a guy or a girl out there, late at night and you're partying and you're having the drinky-loos, if somebody just rolls up and says, hey, you want to get in my car? I'll give you a free ride. Don't do it, okay? I wish somebody told me that about the white van when I was a kid, but live and you learn, right? God damn. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Wax. Now, you might have heard of his name a couple days ago. Ken Wax has been doing month-long investigations into what he believes to be a serial killer group known as the Smiley Face Gang. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to true crime content on the internet, I have a real, in my opinion, when you're investigating things like this, you better be on the goddamn money, okay? And generally, true crime content is probably one of the most consumed content pieces on the internet. Like, tons of moms consume this shit. Tons of people with no lives, okay, consume this kind of content, and very few have the necessary critical thinking skills to actually look beyond what is being fed to them. Now, again, I'm not dogging anybody for enjoying this content. Obviously, it's very popular for a reason. It's intriguing, so on and so forth. I only ask that if you consume true crime content, you absolutely look at it all with a critical lens. It's one of my ethical views whenever I cover criminal things. Especially when it comes to active cases, I tend to try and stay away from that situation until, of course, things are resolved. Because usually law enforcement agents will tell you, please, just stop speculating and causing extra magnifying glasses that don't need to be there, so that if there is actually a killer on the loose, they don't try to hide themselves. They don't try to, be a little bit more careful, because generally cops are trying to look for one goddamn mistake, all right? They don't want somebody on red goddamn alert.
The same thing's happening in Chicago, in Minneapolis, in Wisconsin, in parts of Ohio, in Pittsburgh, and of course you have the Smiley Face Killers in Boston. I made a map with the data that I have for Chicago. Black is where bodies have been found, and blue is where people have been missing, and orange is where people were attempted to be picked up. I also have made one for Austin.
So you know what he told you? Yeah, don't get into a car randomly. What he's doing is basically plotting out where people are going missing, people are turning up dead, usually when they show up drowned or whatever, so to speak. And basically is mapping out some correlation of where this alleged gang sort of operates, right? Now, when it comes to investigations like this regarding missing people, which again are active investigations that grow colder by the hour, no joke, obviously these are real people that have went missing, so if you're going to be reporting on their cases or using them in any capacity, you gotta make sure your investigation is ironclad. As far as I've been able to see, Ken is literally just throwing feces at a dartboard, kind of hoping it sticks. Again, I get what he was trying to do here. Look at where people went missing, look at where people had reported that somebody had offered them a free ride, and I guess just see if there was operations for this gang. Now, the gang, the Smiley Face Gang, so to speak, is a gang that, this isn't actual, police theory. Police theory basically brought up by two investigators, which we'll look into in the future. And the thing is, most law enforcement agencies, I would dare to say all, but I'm saying most because I'm sure there's probably one agency or one federal investigator out there that probably believes this, but generally it is a widely disproven theory because there's just no real tangible connections to it. Whether you're the FBI or you're just local police departments, state police departments, county police departments that have looked into this situation and have kind of brushed it off as a theory that really holds no real validity. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, I don't know what the world consists of entirely. I'm not the omnipresent eye. I'm not the eye of Sauron, so to speak. So maybe this gang could exist, but generally, it's been pretty much known that this is a disproven police theory, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, again, I don't know if this gang is entirely real. It's actually a very debated topic. I actually wanted to cover it a couple of years ago, but it's not really a crazy story. We'll actually cover it just a little bit. I wanted to go over Ken's investigation a little bit more, up until the point where he had to apologize, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's listen to more of his advice.
If you live in Chicago or were in Chicago and you were leaving a restaurant, bar, club, whatever, at night, and a car rolled up to you and offered you a free ride, not an Uber, not a taxi, not a professional driver, and they offered you a free ride just for out of the goodness of their heart, there is a chance that you were almost a victim of an organized crime ring.
Oh, dang. Just don't get into a random person's car. See, that's a piece of good advice that he offers. And then he starts leading it on and tantalizing it with, you were almost part of an organized crime ring. Just stay away. Don't get into a weird dude's car out of nowhere. God damn.
There's obviously something happening in Austin, Texas, and I'm pretty sure I got it. It's only been 2 weeks since I had to update this map and had John Hayes Clark. There is so much going on here, and the worst part is, it is accelerating. So, the issue is that a lot of people use the term SK.
Serial killer. God, dude, it's like this is made for Fisher Price. Stop it, okay? We're adults here. Let's use the right terms.
And it sensationalizes the thing, and it discredits what's actually going on. This isn't one person. This is a team. And it's obvious where they're using their point of origin. It's on Rainy Street. You just cannot look at this map and tell me that
oh, you see, it's obvious where their point of origin is. Rainy Street. Again, let's look at this map real quick. This is Austin. Austin's a pretty big city, ladies and gentlemen. I guess it's all Rainy Street. I really don't know. Maybe there's a higher concentration here, but it's kind of all plastered around. Again, what's happening is Ken is trying to find patterns, and he's making these claims like, hey guys, it's obvious something weird is going, something sussy-wussy is happening. Maybe this isn't just one person, maybe it's multiple. And if you're like, source, it always comes down to, just trust me, bro. That's what it is. Come on now. So again, usually when you're doing true crime content and you're doing investigations like this and you're making claims of this nature, you want to be sure, 100% sure. If you can't be 100% sure, you really don't have any real evidence other than, you know, just flinging feces at a dartboard. Because again, Ken appears like the kind of guy from that one conspiracy meme, you know, the guy putting all the points on, but they don't really make any sense, so he's going crazy. This is one of those scenarios. Again, you know, if you're going to tackle these very sensitive issues, you want to be able to do them with actual proper investigations and not sitting, you know, on your chair. It's one of the reasons why I don't look into these situations. I'm not a detective. I'm a fat guy sitting on my computer looking to shit up on Reddit, okay? That's not helping. That's nowhere close to it, all right? Maybe the like if I investigate the blockchain, yeah, I can sit on my ass and look through fucking, you know, blockchain receipts and whatnot. But when it comes to investigating real serial situations happening in these cities, you're not there. You're not really looking at these situations. You're not really like looking at this like a profiler or an actual detective. You're looking at it as some guy on the internet with too much free time. And that doesn't help. It's also insulting because when you put up like each individual like missing case like this, you're not actually elaborating on, again, each one of them. You know, there's different circumstances to why somebody went missing, what's happened, whether, you know, there is even enough information to discuss that missing person situation in relation to a serial killer or a gang that's roaming around. This is one of those scenarios where like I wish he elaborated on this investigation, but he's just kind of like updating us with this like map, and that's pretty much the general like investigation that went on. It's actually that loose. Anything after this is a little bit insulting because this is where Ken introduces, I would like to say, a bit of theater into the situation. Like there was one case where somebody actually like showed up to his house on a Sunday evening, an investigator, so to speak. Whether this was legitimate or not, whether this was real, who knows? In fact, in a following TikTok, he received this business card with the Eye of Horus on it. And again, I can't, like, a lot of this stuff is when, like, people who are watching his investigation kind of, like, the synapse finally fired in this case, okay? And the people were like, this doesn't really seem like a real investigation. Really just seems like you're kind of making shit up as you go. In fact, most of the investigation up until now has pretty much just been flinging fecal matter at a dartboard. Where is this actual investigation? Where are the actual bits of evidence that are corroborating this theory? Who knows? But again, Ken goes even further and at one point claims to have quote-unquote cracked the case, the Da Vinci Code, so to speak. So here he claims, yo, I cracked the case, let's go! Did he solve the smiley face murder clan? Let's figure it out. Did Ken do it? Oh shit, let's go!
I hope you're ready for this then, because last night at 3 in the morning, I cracked the case. I was able to crack it last night because of you, because of everyone who reached out with information for me. After Mark gave us a profile, he gave us a description of that driver, people then started contacting me via email, via Instagram message, whatever, with their experiences. Over time, I was able to isolate one guy's experience leaving a bar where he was able to get a license plate of a car and a driver that matched that description. Last night,
at 2 or 3 in the morning, I got another email from somebody else describing the same exact freaking car, down to the beginning of the license plate and the same exact descriptor of the driver. That private investigator that showed up at my door Sunday night, by the way, was sent by this man, Detective Kevin Gannon. And if you're familiar with the smiley face gang theory, then you probably know exactly who he is.
Oh, he brought it up. Well, it seems like he took us to the next part. Nice segue there, Ken. Basically, this entire gang that he's been calling out at this point is known as the Smiley Face Gang. Now, there's actually a theory that's been happening all the way back from 1997, I want to say, where basically two detectives from New York, known as Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte, basically brought up the idea that a number of young men were found dead in bodies of water across Midwestern American states from 1990s to 2010s. They did not accidentally drown, as concluded by law enforcement agencies, but were actually victims of serial killers or killers. Now, the reality of this is while these guys definitely put into them, they run an organization known as the Global Death Investigations. And I'm sure these guys are talented police officers and agents, but of course, their theory wasn't completely corroborated. For instance, police departments involved do not officially treat these deaths as part of a serial killer investigation.
At Petco, get same-day delivery of what you need when you need it. You can set repeat...
Law enforcement aside, the Minneapolis Nonprofit Center for Homicide Research released a thorough report on the smiley face killer in 2010 that firmly debunks the entire idea. Which they did. In fact, if you want to read it, they've got it right here. The Drowning the Smiley Face Murder Theory. They have several points, but one of the points that I wanted to bring up was actually the fact that the graffiti, which typically were smiley faces near these bodies, were actually too common of graffiti to be notable in this case. Smiley faces were invented in 1964. I feel like we've developed smiley faces way before that, but okay. Smileys have now become a universal symbol of happiness. They exist everywhere, from children's stickers to commercial logos. One reason this graffiti is found everywhere is that smiley faces are amongst the easiest forms of graffiti to paint. But of course, one of the actual things that I really get into, and one of the actual theories that they mentioned, was one where they actually said that the drowning appears to be more so auto-assassination. So auto-assassination is a style of living with reckless disregard for one's own life. Responsible drinking does not involve drinking to the point of intoxication. Many of these drowning victims appear to be drinking to the point of total inebriation. In some instances, these deaths actually may be suicides, because, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been blackout drunk, which is what total inebriation means, chances are you could be walking around and stumbling in the city. You could unfortunately walk into oncoming traffic, get killed there. You could unfortunately walk on a train tracks. You could unfortunately fall into bodies of water where, again, because you're totally blackout drunk, you may end up accidentally drowning. Again, the smiley face murder theory has so many holes in it that even when the FBI, and this is back from 2008, over the last several years, law enforcement and the FBI have received information about young, college-aged men who've been found deceased in rivers in the Midwest. So to date, we have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths, or any evidence substantiating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers. The vast majority of these instances appear to be alcohol-related drownings. The FBI will continue to work with local police in the affected areas to provide support as requested. Which again, this is kind of corroborating with what most state and federal agencies think. Unfortunately, the people that die in these situations, a grand majority of them aren't tied to some crazy crime ring or serial killer kidnapping nonsense. And of course, it took me 5 minutes to figure this shit out. It didn't take TikTokers. TikTokers figured this out like maybe 6 or 5 days ago when he eventually had to start putting up an apology video. So this is Ken's apology, and I'm air quoting over here pretty hard because I don't really know what the hell the apology consisted of, other than the fact that Ken was announcing he had to step back from being the chief marketing officer of a tech bro app that he was working on. Also, when it came to this investigation, it seems like Ken knows that his efforts did fucking all. Now, of course, what was even wilder about this is when you look even further into Ken's investigation and the sense of grandeur this man develops, where apparently he claimed to be scouted by the FBI. Listen to this claim. Just listen to how wild this is, because this is not going to only show you Ken's insanity, but also the average TikTok viewer's reading comprehension. So let's go through this.
What's funny is that the FBI did try to hire me. They actually tried to recruit me twice.
Man, dude, TikTokers are dude, the TikTok community is goddamn stupid. FBI jobs do not reply. Hi, working at the FBI is an exciting career path. Your special agent application reminders. He didn't complete the application paperwork, you dunces. He applied, the FBI wasn't recruiting him. Dumbass. God damn. Do people not know how to read a goddamn subject line? What's wrong with you? Jesus Christ, dude. It's like you're trying to entertain. Dude, literally, here, let me get some. If I had some keys right now, I'd dangle in front of them, dude. That's all you need. Jesus Christ. Now, it wasn't just me calling it. There's some pretty good TikTokers out there that actually looked beyond what Kenneth said anyways. Maybe Ken's investigation wasn't all that it was cracked up to be.
I hope you're ready for this then, because last night at 3 in the morning, I cracked the case. I was able to crack.
Hi, former military police investigator and interrogator for the U.S. Army, mainly working in Afghanistan operations. And
oh, dude, TikTok's kind of based, bro. Yeah, I'm a military interrogator specialist. I operated in Afghanistan. Oh, human rights violations, you say? Ooh. Dude, it's kind of sick, bro. God damn. All right, what's he gonna say?
I just want to issue a strong warning around these videos. I kind of got caught up and I was watching it, but it was the FBI bounce back emails. Those are just when you submit an application for those. The FBI isn't trying to recruit him. I tried to find any information about these 2 murderers that he's supposedly caught. He's not. I think this is a really important thing to talk about. Gaining clout off of people's misfortunes, especially people who are murdered and their families are not at peace, is one of the most horrible things. And this is all to promote an app.
Work has been really crazy lately, and I feel like I've tried everything to help with my stress, but nothing's working.
Now, I don't know what he's talking about specifically with the 2 murders. It seems like a lot of stuff does get removed. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, what they're talking about with the application in particular, this Foresight application that he was pushing, lifestyle planning, travel innovation, social experience. Just use a messaging application and talk about your plans. Jesus Christ. Trying to convince your homies to download a fucking app for anything is a goddamn impossibility. Just stop it. So there were other TikTokers that looked into this actual app real quick, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go down and just go to his website here real quick, the Foresight. So basically people found this one place called Start Engine, which I guess is basically like a Kickstarter for this kind of stuff. So if you effectively have a application that you want to promote or push, then you can go over here and like give reasons to invest. And I guess they raised like $209,000 before Ken was removed because of this post right here. Look at this real quick. So I scrolled down. I'm actually surprised it's not deleted. In fact, if I look over here real quick, he apparently is still listed as like a co-founder, like CMO, which I guess he technically is a co-founder. From what it appears, he has been booted off as far as I know. But to look into this, ladies and gentlemen, one of the posts down over here, which was past 48 hours, okay? 804 installs, 25.5K raise. This is on 4/16/23, right? The team at Foresight is shattering record with over 804 installs, very specific number, by the way, with $25,000 raised in the same time period. What's caused this sudden viral urge? With our CMO having an influential 830K follower TikTok reach, Foresight's potential for explosive growth has never been a secret. That said, the team has never achieved true virality when attempting to promote product-centered content on Ken's personal profile. Yeah, because nobody wants to watch a straight fucking ad, okay? That's not how it works. Congrats, you guys figured out basic marketing on the internet. Ken decided to try something new yesterday by quickly referencing foresight as a side topic at the end of an unrelated post. Now, what is this unrelated post, ladies and gentlemen? Well, if I try clicking on it, video currently unavailable. Now, I've tried looking up this video, okay? I looked at the URL. I even went to a website, believe it or not, known as URL eBird, Early Bird, I guess. And it seems as though that one page that I'm trying to find, if I load more, it actually appears that that specific video, no matter what, has been like straight up deleted. Now, while digging up his deleted video is not really an interest to me, obviously he was trying to promote this dumb app in between an investigation that really had no legs to stand on, ladies and gentlemen. Proving once again that, TikTokers, I'll be honest with you, it takes them a solid couple months before they realize they've been had. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly how not to true crime, and this is exactly how to take, I would say, advantage of really, really sensitive situations. Clearly, people lost their lives over here, and for Ken to sit over here and fling shit at a dartboard thinking that maybe he's onto some theory that, again, wasn't substantiated to begin with. Stuff like this actually hurts investigations, and stuff like this, honestly, is incredibly insensitive, obviously. But also, the true crime category has plenty of already done, I guess you could say, completed sagas that you could cover and actually look at analytically. Again, active investigations, or again, lack of an investigation really over here, and again, just connecting random deaths with this one theory that has actually been pretty much debunked throughout the course of 2 decades is something that, honestly, it took me, 30 minutes to rationally, critically think and debunk myself. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a story of how Ken, one of TikToker's most ambitious investigators, so to speak, God, I hate using that term for this specific story, actually had to issue an apology because, goddamn, the insensitivity was off the charts. Should you download Ken's app? Honest to God, I couldn't even answer that question. If you don't know that you have a calendar app built into your phone, you got a lot more problems than downloading an app to plan a fucking trip out with your friends. That said, though, Ken, goddamn, you are one gross motherfucker. But ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster? With Wix, you can edit your...
Cheers!
Oh, nice!
Alright, so check this out. I want to show you something. This is a map of Hokkaido, Japan's largest prefecture, the island in the north, and one that we visited many times before. But look at this map and you notice a pattern. We've never gone beyond this side of the island. There's almost like an imaginary barrier that runs down the middle of the prefecture. Now maybe that's because there's nothing over here, right? Maybe it's just a barren wasteland. But that's bollocks. In fact, it turns out there's a lot of good things to see here. Number one, we have an icebreaker ship that cruises every year through the Sea of Okhotsk. And then down here there's the iconic snow train, open for just a few weeks of every year. And then the real prize is over here on the far eastern coast, because it turns out this is the most eastern accessible point in all of Japan. Incredible given that the most northern point is on the other side of Hokkaido. So I propose that we set out to explore and discover this frozen frontier, this part of Japan that few have actually gone and seen. And I know just the guys to come along for this one, including one special good friend who's very much in need of a holiday. It's been a busy year.
Holiday, celebrate. If we took a holiday, took some time to celebrate, it would be would be so nice.
Ooh.
Happy birthday, Ryotaro-san. Happy birthday, Ryotaro-san. Happy birthday, go fuck yourself. Sayonara, Ryotaro.
One day to come together, release the pressure. We need a
What the fuck, Jesus Christ? Nanda, Chris, my so very busy. I'm working time.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Question?
Do you want to go
Yeah.
on a holiday?
Holiday? Really?
So here we are, guys, in Hokkaido, in a real-life igloo, as you can hear from the echo. I've always wanted to start an Abroad Japan video in an igloo. About to begin our journey. I'm not sure how far it is this time, but I know it's going to be the coldest journey across Japan we've ever shot. But let's go meet the boys. Let's go and get outside. The igloo looks a lot more impressive from the outside, as you'll see. But here they are. It's Animation Man and Natsuki.
Ooh, yeah!
How you guys doing?
Chris, I know you said that you were like, hey, we're going to be going to a really cool place this journey across Japan. I didn't think you meant it like this.
This is very cool. It's so cool. It's minus 12 degrees Celsius right now. And we're on a frozen lake. How do you feel?
Oh, good location, Crystal Island.
Crystal Island. But as you know, guys, on Journey Across Japan, we always have challenges with Ampan Man. We get challenges. We're not going to do that this time because we couldn't afford Ampan Man's rates. Oh, no. So we've got the next best thing. Pete, Harriet too.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, guys. How you doing? Nice to see you all.
So what are you going to be doing, Pete? What's your job on this trip?
I will be providing you guys with various challenges and rewards. So do your best, and to the victor go the spoils.
You look like you're turning into a living snowman. Look at his face. What have you been doing out here?
Well, I've been waiting for 30 minutes for you to get this take right so that I could do my best.
Let's go and take a look around this village.
Let's take a look.
Before we get the hell out of here.
It's so cool.
This area is so slipped. Do not play sledge here. So this huge white expanse behind us is Lake Shikari Betsu, the highest lake in all of Hokkaido at 800 meters elevation. It's slap bang in the middle of the island if you look at a map. And for 2 months of the year, it's frozen over so much to the point that you can only walk on it, but build an entire igloo village. It looks a bit like Hoth out of Star Wars. Let's go down and take a look. Oh my God. Be careful of the slippery slope. Pretty damn treacherous.
There's a cool little thing over there. It's like a natural thermometer you can check using alcohol. You know how different types of alcohol have different freezing points?
Yeah.
The water in the beer is pretty much frozen solid. The Chuhai is like kind of frozen solid. And if you ask me, that whiskey is at a good temperature to drink at. If I'm being honest, that's going to taste good.
Go on, take a swig. Take a swig of the thermometer.
Let me in. Let me in.
Pouring his way in.
Please let me in. I saw earlier that the deepest point of this lake is about 100 meters deep.
Whoa.
So you don't want to be falling through this thing.
Time for a swim. Oh yeah, mate, it's fucking cold. I realised something with the igloo. As the day goes by and the snow gets more furious, the igloo actually gets bigger, because here we've got the exterior of the ice, and then it's now buried under an inch of snow in the last hour or so that we've been here. So perhaps the only form of accommodation in the world that gets bigger with the weather. Prove me wrong.
You gotta admit, it's about as big as some apartments in Tokyo.
Yeah. Same.
Probably bigger.
Yeah.
Tokyo style.
Do you think it'd be okay in an earthquake?
No.
Or would it sort of shatter?
You know, I'm gonna be honest, the last place I'd want to be doing an earthquake is a frozen lake.
Yeah, that's not the only place I wouldn't want to be, as Natsuki and Joey stumble across a hot spring foot bath.
Oh my god, my toes!
And boldly plunge their frozen feet straight into the scorching hot water. Ouch.
3, 2, 1.
Hot and cold. Hot and cold.
My toes are pink.
Kamakris.
No.
Tamuisha.
At last, with our somewhat boiled companions, it's time to hit the road. Coming up on the first day of our journey, we head deep into the mountains to stay at Japan's largest ice village, complete with a spectacular bar and even a working convenience store with some potential shortcomings.
Let's try. Let's try.
We also taste the local specialty of butadon, a dish as calorific as it is delicious, and for a good reason. But first, how best to travel across North Japan's frozen landscape, a place that spends half the year as a literal snow globe.
Did you get the Google 5 phone plan yet? Whoops.
I wish I had. Their seamless international coverage would be very helpful right now.
Guess just add it to the pile of regrets, huh?
Hokkaido is home to the largest population of Ainu people in the country, an indigenous people that are sadly few in number today, but who historically lived around the Sea of Okhotsk. But it's here in the north that certain traditions can be found alive and kicking to this very day.
They really love to run. In all the time, the native Ainu people use the dog sled for transportation. Right. So the postman in Hokkaido deliver the post mail with the dog sled.
Good lord. Takeshi Takita has been dog sledding for over a decade. His mother was originally from the island of Sakhalin, and today Takita-san teaches the traditions to those looking to ride across the frozen plains the old-fashioned way. And as we quickly learn, the old messy way.
And while they're running, some of them suddenly wants to poo-poo. Okay. Well, running. Oh, no. I want.
Is Chris about to get a face full of
What? Oh dear. And on that delightful note, the dogs are raring to go as I begrudgingly take my seat at the front of the sled.
Wow, look at them go. Okay. So Joey's in charge of guiding the dogs. Yeah. On the back. Oh shit, Joey! Joey nearly tipped the whole thing over.
Incredibly, a well-operated dog sled can cover up to 145 kilometres in a single day, though we're hoping to go just a pitiful 12, at least in theory, because with Joey steering and me on brakes, even 1 kilometre seems somewhat optimistic.
So far, so good. So we come into a corner, which means we brake slightly. Put a pedal here, push the brake.
At last, we've got the hang of it, except we don't.
Just 1 minute ago, Joey was like, I wonder if this ever tips over. And it did. Oh God.
Oh my God.
We didn't eat shit. What the hell happened? Did we not hit the brakes enough?
I guess not.
What's incredible is the dogs just kept on going. We tipped over and fell off, and they're like, yeah, fuck that, and they just kept on going.
They did not care at all.
What happened, do you think? Maybe not enough brake?
Maybe.
Or maybe it didn't
when
lean
you turn the
far.
corner, maybe you step on the brakes too strongly. Maybe the sled goes inside, out of the trail.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. These dogs are doing such a good job. They're just ready to go. Hey, doing a good run. You're doing a good run. Sun Tzu said, if
If you fall off a dog sled, get back on, ride that dog sled. Right, that's exactly what we do. The stakes feel a little bit higher now, not gonna lie. Ready? Oh God! Yeah, you gotta hold on tight on this thing. Yeah, we got the hang of this. Oh God, oh God. The dogs are so disciplined, so trained. Now this is dog racing. Having learned from our painful flying lesson, this time we glide our way across the glistening, powdery snowfields with the beautiful Hidaka mountain range towering in the distance. Honestly, it's nothing short of magical. It's just a shame that I can't feel my fingers. I'm not gonna lie, I think I've got frostbite in my hand. By the time this dog sled pulls in at the end of our journey, it's just gonna be my frostbitten corpse flailing on the edge, holding on. Hell yeah! Woo. Good job, team. We did it. That was a lot of fun. I didn't know what to expect with the dog sledding, and I would comfortably say that it was more enjoyable than riding a horse.
That was so cool. I was like weirdly like panting, even though I wasn't doing the crawl, because I just got so excited because I'm just like on the back of this
mimicking
thing.
the very animals themselves. What the fuck, Joey? Before continuing our journey onto the ice village, it's time to defrost our fingers. And fortunately, we find a nearby restaurant serving up the local dish of South Hokkaido, a hearty bowl of pork butadon.
Oh, soba taste.
Look at that bad boy. That is a thick mama of pork, by the way. Give it a go. How is it? Is it a thick mama? Is it juicy?
That sweet sticky sauce is so good. It's got that really nice sort of char-grilled barbecue taste to it, though.
Yeah,
you can see it being grilled behind us in the kitchen. And also, this is something I don't think I've ever seen. The miso soup has a handle.
That's handy.
Which is really convenient. Why has no one thought of this? The taste of sophistication. What's the story behind butadon and obihira? Why here in particular?
So originally, in the early Meiji era, obihira was kind of known for like raising pigs for like consumption and stuff like that, and they wanted to create a dish that would like help the workers get through their day. And so what they originally had planned was kind of, you know what stamina is? Basically, it's to build stamina, but usually it's like pork and with a bit of unagi, eel. But because in obihiro, it's kind of difficult to get unagi around these areas.
Unagi is more of a southern Japan cuisine, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So what they decided instead was to ditch the unagi and just fully commit to the pork. And that was the birth of butadon. So it all started here, and it got so popular that now you can eat it anywhere in Japan.
I like the fact that it's like, we've run out of unagi. What should we do?
More pork!
Yeah. How much pork should we have?
Yes.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
1 to 10?
Easy 10 だね.
Easy 10.
Simple. Simple is best. Maybe punk rock.
Tonight's accommodation neighbours the ice village and a striking rainbow tower that comes with some rather grand amenities. So we're in our hotel room. Now when you think of hotels in Japan, typically you think small, cramped, narrow, not very good. But check this out. This is more akin to a Las Vegas suite. Let's go and let in the guys and show them what tonight's accommodation looks like.
Let me see this room. It's cold out here.
Whoa! This is the...
Like a pool.
It is like a pool, yeah.
Like a pool.
Whoa,
that's cool.
It's like a children's play area, this whole room, right?
Oh, kids.
But it's the bathroom where things get exciting.
Wow.
That's a spaceship.
Oh, we can all have fun in the hot tub.
Sexual bus.
Sexual bath.
Sexual bath. Sexual.
To fit the whole team in the bath.
Oh, like a king.
But it's got a really cool view overlooking the ski slope as well.
Good views.
But before we even get in the bath, there's one thing else you can do, and that is come in the sauna.
Wow.
Oh, there's a sauna.
Look at this. Check this out.
Oh, Finland. Yeah, Finland.
Yeah. And inside the sauna is Ian and Pete.
Are you supposed to be wearing your full winter clothes in here? Or
That's what they said.
Perhaps we've made a mistake.
I will use smoking room.
No. Don't do that. And here, this is Natsuki's room.
This is huge. He gets 3 beds?
Yeah.
On that? Oh.
Bunk bed. There you go.
That's cool. It's such a like weird mix of.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's 50 years old this year, but he's
Rolling
still,
Jesus.
But he still rolls like Jesus. And then the last room over here.
Wait, where's my room?
You can go in the bunk bed.
Oh, sick.
Or you can put up with my snoring and stay in here.
Never mind. I'm sleeping here.
Alright. But now, do you want to go and see a village made of ice?
Yeah.
No idea. Come on.
Let's go challenge. Why ice?
Learn a language by watching TV. Choose from hundreds of TV shows.
Oui, c'est bien moi.
Oui, je vois ça. Click on words in the subtitle to get an instant translation. Review what you have learned with video-based flashcards.
Japan's answer to Narnia is certainly pretty damn impressive, especially given it needs to be rebuilt from scratch every single year. From a fully operational convenience store and a disturbingly well-stocked bar, complete of course with glasses of ice, to a hotel room with a questionable bed. And as if that wasn't impressive enough, as we climb over the hill to the entrance, we're immediately rewarded with a spectacular fireworks display. They must have known that Natsuki was coming.
Oh, amazing! Hey, my birthday! More fire! More fire! Fire!
Armed with his lighter and his cigarette, I worry that Ice Village won't last very long with Natsuki around.
Goodbye, Iceberg. Oh!
We're eager to head on down into the village, and it quickly turns out the fastest way down is via a gigantic slide made of ice.
Your cemetery?
Okay,
keep going.
All right. Oh, God. That's so fast.
My hip!
Okay. Ooh. Ooh. This is really fast.
And with an entrance like that, unsurprisingly we need a drink. And so our first stop is the bar.
Let's try. Let's try.
Let's not fall over.
Natsuki's eyes lit up when he entered the ice bar.
Of course.
And then he fell over.
Well, this is a first time for me, sitting in the ice bar. I gotta say, aesthetically, it's amazing. However, one small complaint. I'm stuck to the chair. Shouldn't have worn jeans. This is very, very cold. Big mistake, but that'll solve it. Little liquid courage. Wow, this is amazing. This is actually an ice glass, too. This is so cool. Can I try this? Ooh, hints of blue. Okay, that's kind of strong. That's kind of strong, but it tastes good. This is great. Are these all for me? Oh.
Really cool. I've never had an ice glass before, right? It's painful to hold. Yeah, if you don't have gloves, you're kind of screwed, like Natsuki, right?
Oh, 5 seconds. Give up.
Yeah, let's try the 5-second ice glass challenge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck. It's dripping out of my hand. I'm gonna have frostbite. Ow, ow, and ow. Delicious, but massively impractical.
But if you think that's impractical, wait until you try the drinks in the convenience store.
Oh wow, so this one is a Seiko Mart. Seiko Mart is the convenience store chain that's native to Hokkaido. And yeah, they've got a little range of products there. They got Kairo here, we can warm up. Oh, yeah, I think we need these. Seems a bit weird leaving all these products just outside, right? The drinks are all frozen. So, some lemon water, wonderful, yes. Oh, it's just ice.
I love how as well they're just leaving out like actual refrigerated stuff like cheeses out in the open because it's probably better in here than it is in a fridge.
Frozen cheese, anyone?
Frozen cheese aside, the bed made from ice also leaves a lot to be desired.
Flintstone winter style.
Flintstone's winter style.
We are dinosaur ages.
There's a sense that you wouldn't be very warm in that bed.
Well, see, that's why you have that special someone to create warmth.
And is that you, Pete?
Oh, I'm just going off what I heard. I've never had any of that. I feel like I'm in that Lady Gaga video where they're watching those people.
Yeah, Bad Romance.
Bad Romance. And I'm in my ice chair.
Oh my god, I can't unsee that.
Good romance. Ice romance.
Like your wedding night.
Wedding night? Oh, nice honeymoon. Oh, good memory.
There's certainly nothing romantic about the Fred Flintstone ice floor, a health and safety nightmare waiting to happen.
Hey, Americans, give me your hand. Yeah. American sweep. No, that's not what we want. American sweep.
Okay, I hit my head.
Not everyone's impressed.
Sorry, see what's in.
Having saved the slippery American man from the treacherous floor, Natsuki's rewarded with a lesson on how to prepare a traditional American cuisine.
Marshmallow.
Do you have in Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, in America, it's so famous.
Oh, famous.
Yeah, you get a fire, and you roast it on the open fire. It's my favorite.
Japanese?
Yeah.
No, another. Maracas. Maracas.
Not maracas. These are marshmallows. Come on. Perfect food.
Oh, nice.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Extra food. I'll take that one back.
Oh god.
I'm gonna throw it away though.
Yeah.
Don't eat this one.
Oh, Daddy.
Oh, nice.
Oh god. The fuck is this? Oh, goodbye, Ice Village.
Goodbye, Ice Bridge. Oh, Chris. Olympics.
What happened at Ice Village? A man came in with some marshmallows and burnt the whole thing down. Honestly.
Oh yeah, that's creamy. I wonder why I gained 12 pounds. Just so.
Oh, nice. First night.
Looks like a house fire on a stick.
Oh.
You can't eat that.
You can, and you will, and you should.
Well, thankfully, despite Natsuki's best efforts, the Ice Village remains standing. Time to celebrate with one final trip to the bar.
Cheers!
Cheers!
I have to say, this Ice Village has exceeded all expectations, and somehow it survived Natsuki's cigarettes and Pete's marshmallow burning, which is great. It's left intact.
Project. Burning town.
Rather worrying project indeed. Yeah, what do you think of the village?
That was amazing. I had a great time.
It was pretty chill. But what a fantastic first day it's been. Brilliant start to our trip across Hokkaido. Cheers, guys. Cheers. We continue on tomorrow, further east than ever before. Now, just one last thing left to do, right, Natsuki?
Sexy birthday.
Oh, God, so nice. Oh. But when everybody in fucking black. Oh, so nice.
Room for one more in there?
No.
Fit?
No.
You go?
I'd rather be in the sauna anyway.
Let's relax, Natsuki.
Kanpai.
Let's relax. Kanpai.
Oh, cheers. He's big man.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Harry Potter wants go to train.
Oh, God!
Fantastic time.
I tell you what, though, the igloo looks far more interesting and impressive from the outside. So let's go outside and meet the team. Who's joining us on Journey Across Japan this time? Well, it is, of course. Ow, my fucking head. It's... it's... Oh, fuck off.
Nigel,
That's one for the Patreons.
Ajá. Está bien.
Corona, la vida más fina es nuestra.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy KSI, back from Misfits 007. What an event. Misfits, you know how it is. There's always big moments happening, whether it's good or bad. People are talking about Misfits. You had Salt Papi losing to Anthony Taylor. Now that was a big upset. You had Boogie versus Wings on the prelims, and that was huge. Congrats to Wings. You had two fierce, entertaining female fights. You had the amazing fight between DK Money and Virus. DK Money dropping Virus in the second round. And then at the end of the second round, Virus coming back with the KO of his own. And then managing to win the fight from that KO. Incredible. Deji versus Swarms. Deji showing the skills and absolutely outboxing Swarms and getting a victory there. That's 2 wins in a row for Deji now. Incredible scenes. And then you had your boy, K to the S to the I, absolutely obliterating Joe Fournier. A 9-0 pro. And then I got the KO. But, of course, there's controversy with the KO. Did I knock him out with my elbow? Did Joe Fournier run into my elbow and knock himself out? Did my right hook even connect? Joe Fournier is appealing to the commission to get the win overturned. So will I get disqualified? Will it be a no contest? Will it remain the same? These are questions that we'll soon know the answer, but you know, I can tell you my truth. I truly believe I hit him with a right hook. Now you gotta remember, 99% of people have never ever been in the ring, so they don't know what it's like to ever be in a fight. So when I hit him with an overhand and I saw that he was stumbling, I knew it was time to destroy. I knew there was 3 things he was probably gonna do. He was either gonna put his gloves up and just weather the storm. He was either gonna just go for broke and throw some wild punches, or he was gonna clinch. And that's one of the reasons why, instead of me just going for broke, going for wild hooks or wild straights, I went with a right to the body because I knew he wasn't really gonna be protecting that. So I managed to connect with the right body, and then he proceeded to clinch me. And at that point, I tried to step back and come through with a hook. And as soon as I came with the hook, while he was falling towards me, I then saw him drop on the floor, and that was all she wrote. Now it's crazy because I truly believed that I hit him with a right hook, his face hit my glove, and I followed through and knocked him out. So then when I went over to talk to Slim and Dean the Great and Ade, Slim and Dean the Great whispered in my ear like, nice KO, but I think it was an elbow, bro. Now at that point, I was hella confused because I was so sure that I hit him with my fist. So I went backstage and I saw a replay literally on the ring. From the angle that I could see, it showed that I just threw a right hook and he just dropped. But you can't see if it connects. You just saw a right hook and the camera was this side and he drops, and that's it. And then I see another replay, the replay that we've probably all seen, and it looks like I missed my hook and it hits my elbow. So it's a weird one because for me, I truly believe I hit him with a right hook, but the replay is saying otherwise. Now Joe Fournier is trying to say that I intentionally used my elbow to knock him out.
What's going through your mind right now, Joe?
They cheated, clear in black and white. You've all seen the replays. It's gone viral. It's all over the world. He hit me with a clean elbow.
Which makes no sense because why would I want to ruin all my hard work to just elbow him? I can understand if Joe Fournier was absolutely obliterating me and then I hit him with an elbow, or it looked like I hit him with an elbow to drop him and then I win the fight. But I was literally all over Joe Fournier. If you look at the fight, I was all over him. He hardly threw any punches because I pretty much rocked him in the first 15 seconds with a fast right hook. I mean, a fast right cross to his face. Instantly at that point, his whole demeanor changed. and he became very negative. And it kind of reminded me of like swarms of Pineda. So yeah, him trying to say that I intentionally used my elbow to knock him out is just ludicrous, and it's stupid. And I believe most people are on my side in the sense that if I did hit him with my forearm or my elbow, it wasn't intentional. But I mean, fuck me, if I'm knocking people out with my forearm or my elbow, maybe I should be getting into MMA. Maybe I'm in the wrong sport. Nah, I'm kidding. I would go nowhere near MMA, man. I have seen what those guys gotta do and deal with, and I am good. But yeah, with my style of fighting, it's very unorthodox, you know. How many boxers do you see, professional boxers do you see, bounce like that with their hands all the way down? Yeah, it's hardly any. And I knew Joe was struggling to deal with this style, because for him, he's thinking, okay, if I try to jab him, he's just gonna move back. And then if I try to rush him, he's gonna just blitz into my face and then knock me out that way. So he was kind of just stuck in the mud, trying to time me when I come in. But because I kept feinting and bouncing and it looked like I was gonna go in when I didn't, he was just confused and a bit lost, essentially. But yeah, round one, did my thing, dominate. I hardly got hit. As you can see, I'm pretty blessed. So round two was when, you know, obviously the incident happened. So, you know, you got me in the body, jab to the face, just, you know, coming in and out of range, you know, body right to the body. I tried to go for an overhand there because he was a little stationary. I was like, all right, let me slow it down a little, you know, hitting the jab. So with that was, I think, the only shot he hit me with. Jab to my face when I tried to jab him. So at that point, I knew, okay, you're gonna try and jab when I jab. So all I did was just make a little adjustment. And when I went to jab him again, I simply just caught his jab while jabbing at the same time. Boom. So I don't know if you could see, but notice how this
Google Fi Wireless. Meet the Samsung Galaxy S23 series. Phones designed.
This time, I was able to jab him while he was jabbing me, but catch his jab so it didn't hit my face. And he just got a mean jab to the face, and I'm just there like, bless. I probably should have done more jabs, but he was moving quite a lot. So it was kind of hard to get something on or get something working for me. I was trying to set him up here to try and fly by, but then it wasn't on. So I waited again, you know, a bit of defense there. At this point, I feel like I've hit him to the body enough for him to think that's just what I'm going to continue to do. And that's when I switched it up. I was like, all right, time to hit him to the head, and I went with an overhand. Boom. And that instantly dazed him. Instantly, he was backing up, and I'm there trying to go for the kill. That's why I went for the right hand to the body, just to make sure I get a shot that would always, you know, be there. I come through the right body. I step back, try to throw a right hook, and I just see him drop. So I'm there like, all right, time to mean mug. I done it. Don't fuck with me, Joe. And bro, he is slumped on the floor. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. But then we look at the replay. So this is a replay everyone saw. First, the overhand, big shot. Fucked him up. Didn't know what the fuck was going on. He was trying to survive at this point. He's trying to hold on to me. Now it looks like I hit him with that elbow there. So we see another angle. Now look, he's trying to clinch me. Look, he's coming forward towards me. Notice how he's coming forward towards me. I'm trying to throw a right hook, a quick right hook on the inside. Like, it's fast, like one of them ones, like a sneaky right hook. Now for him to say that I intentionally tried to use my elbow, it's just outrageous. Like, I would need to do it like that? I don't even know, like, hit him like that? If anything, that's even harder to do, to get. It's awkward, and I wouldn't do that because I'm not trained in how to elbow someone. But then I'm looking at footage like this.
KSI, stop playing with him, bro.
This is on Speed's.
God, oh, God damn.
That's on Speed's live stream. And it looks like it's just a right hook. Bro, it just looks like I'm throwing a right hook. And that's what I thought I did. I thought I just threw a right hook. But yeah, the crazy thing is, this whole controversy in this incident, it just made this way bigger than I thought it'd ever be, if I'm being honest. I had Conor McGregor tweeting this. Did you see the KSI finish via elbow strike? If so, what do you think of it? Fight was ruled a win, even though it was in boxing. Conor McGregor replies with, I seen it, I liked it. He going. Fair play, KSI. Like, Jake Paul's pissed. Jake Paul fuming. That's what I think of it. Did you see the KSI ever be, if I'm being honest? I had Conor McGregor tweeting this. Did you see the KSI finish via elbow strike? If so, what do you think of it? Fight was ruled a win, even though it was in boxing. Conor McGregor replies with, I seen it, I liked it. He going. Fair play, KSI. Like, Jake Paul's pissed. Jake Paul fuming. Why won't you acknowledge me, Conor? I had a load of MMA guys just reading about it. It was on ESPN, it was on The Independent, The Mirror, The Daily Mail, The Evening Standard. It was on the news everywhere. It was on social media everywhere. It's crazy because that whole incident just made the whole event bigger than it would have ever been. But yeah, ultimately, I know it's not going to be a disqualification because I didn't intentionally try to hit him with my forearm or my elbow. I went for a right hook, and I believe I hit him with a right hook, and then the rest of my follow through also hit him. I mean, you gotta remember, the same thing happened with Liam Smith and Chris Eubank. Yeah, people gotta remember, this is, you know, boxing. It's combat. Shit happens, man. But yeah, for me, it kind of sucked because I put so much hard work into that fight. Training, the weeks and weeks and weeks of camp, just relentlessly put my body through hell to make sure for one night I was as good as I was, and then for it to be ruined by a moment like that, you know, at the end of the fight, it puts a whole downer on everything. But yeah, ultimately we'll see what the PBA have to say. I truly don't believe it's going to be a disqualification. I know a lot of haters or Jake Paul fans are gagging or hungry for me to have a disqualification so I can get an L. These guys are just pleading that I have an L on my record. But I honestly think it either won't get overturned or it'll just be a no contest. And either way, you know, I'm not really fussed. Because I know I was better than him. I didn't end up on the ground, slumped on the floor. I'm not going to rematch him because what's the point? And yeah, I'll just move on. I'll have what? 5 wins, no losses, 1 draw, and 1 no contest. Flipping heck, what a record. And in the future, people look at my record and go, what? 1 no contest? What's that for? And they just see me obliterate Joe Fournier and then sleep him. It's kind of just like, okay, well, cool, I guess. I think the only way I'd actually be pissed is if I lost. But I just don't see that happening because I didn't intentionally try to knock him out with my elbow. But yeah, that's my thoughts about the whole situation. I think we'll find out what the results are this Friday. But yeah, Misfits 007, a fantastic event with a frustrating ending. But hey, me versus Tommy Fury hopefully should be happening soon this year. And I already know that's going to be a crazy fight. But just imagine me knocking out Tommy Fury. How crazy the internet would go. How crazy it would go online. You know, it'd be all over the news. KSI, a YouTuber, knocked out a professional boxer that beat Jake Paul. I mean, at that point, all the Jake Paul fans are in the bin. And Jake Paul just wouldn't have a leg to stand on. And it will be fantastic. It's been your boy KSI. I think next video will be a Reddit. I'll see what you guys have been posting. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Take care and peace. Easy, doing no effort, man.
Atera is the IT painkiller. Remote monitoring and management, remote access, help desk and ticket.
I know what you're thinking. It's only been 9 months since our last $500 budget build. But in that short time, we've seen AMD and Intel launch new product families, and we've seen inflation take away about 3% of our buying power, which At a $500 budget, works out to about $15, which is the difference between 8 and 16 gigs of RAM, or between a 512 gig and a 1 terabyte SSD. So you got a lot of questions to answer today. Like, how far will $500 go if we want the latest CPU tech? Will we be able to afford a good GPU? An okay GPU? A GPU? Can I afford a segue to our... Ooh, I faked you out. We're gonna get right into it today. Starting with the Core i3-13100F. 4 hyper-threaded performance cores and a boost clock of 4.5 gigahertz, the Core i3-13100F doesn't offer a lot of bells and whistles. It doesn't even have onboard video. But it does support Intel's latest platform features like PCIe Gen 5 and DDR5, even if we won't be using them, and it's only $100, making it, well, the only option. By comparison, the cheapest 7000 series Ryzen CPU is the 7600 for a whopping $120 more. To be clear, it is much faster. 6 cores rather than 4 at up to 5.1 gigahertz. But at this price, AMD just isn't viable for our system. And what's really wild is even if we go back to their older AM4 platform, we find that AMD has simply abandoned the budget-minded customers that kept them alive during the bad years. Even with a Ryzen 5600, we would need to make extra compromises to hit our $500 budget, like trying to find a free case or buying a used GPU. But today's a no-compromise day. I especially am not going to compromise on this segue to our sponsor.
Enlisted! Take part in iconic World War II campaigns in this...
Like 20 years ago when I first got into this hobby, there's not much left in the way of bad motherboard brands. So really what it comes down to is finding something that has the features and connectivity that you require. We settled on the B660M HDV from ASRock. It's got a total of 6 USB 3.5 gigabit ports, including 1 Type-C, dual M.2 SSD slots, ample PCIe, USB 2, and SATA expansion, and while it only has 2 DDR4 memory slots, unlike the H610 chipset motherboards that come in a little bit cheaper than this, those slots support overclocking, which means we're not leaving any performance on the table. Well, not that that's necessarily a concern given our RAM choice. We ended up with a single 8 gig stick of Patriot Viper Elite 2. And I know. This is going to be a bit of a controversial pick, so please allow me to explain. This lands firmly in the bang for the buck speed range for this platform. And while we could have gone with 16 gigs of RAM, or at least a dual channel 8 gig kit, which would have netted us some additional performance, it's a slippery slope, right guys? I mean, if we start with a budget, but then we keep saying, what's $10 more? Suddenly we find ourselves with a $600 build rather than a $500 build and $100 of debt to our mean older sister. It's far better to just drop a second stick in down the road, upgrade to dual channel later when it can be found dirt cheap secondhand, or when cash flow's a little bit looser, which, while I tend to shy away from the F word, ended up being one of the big themes of this build. Let's talk about storage. For nearly the same price as this Intel 670p 512GB SSD, I could have had an SSD and hard drive combo that would have netted me significantly more capacity. And in an era when some games will take up 100 gigs on their own, there's no question that that's desirable. But storage is one area where I just don't like to screw around, and the 670p is not only a known good performer, punching well above its PCIe Gen 3 weight class, it's also got an excellent reputation for reliability. I mean, do you want to be gaming, or do you want to be waiting around for a warranty replacement that might never come? And besides, once this is full and you want to boost your storage space down the line, those dirt cheap drives on Newegg are still going to be there, and you can always throw them in knowing that you've got a rock solid foundation. Though I'm not sure I can say the same about our case. The DIY PC F2's main selling point is available in purple or orange. It doesn't have entirely terrible cable management thanks to this kind of popped out back panel here. You can see when we pop off the panel, it's totally flat here, no room for anything. But that's where your space is. As far as I can tell, it's to save the like 6% materials cost of making everything else a little bit bigger to accommodate that extra width. So you just stamp it out of the side panel. It's ingenious, actually. Truthfully though, none of that is why we chose this. We chose it only because it is literally the cheapest MATX case that we could find on PC Part Picker, and I would never buy this case. Not because I'm some kind of out-of-touch elitist, but because I am willing to get down and dirty. If scavenging from a dumpster means saving $38, almost 10% of my total budget here, I'll do it. And you should too. The ATX standard hasn't been meaningfully changed in almost 30 years, which means unless you're buying a top-of-the-line GPU, which you're not, your modern system will probably fit in this, or this, or this, or this, or this. And on the subject of using what you've got, let's talk about cooling. Even as you start to upgrade the machine, the CPU heatsink is one of the last things that I would recommend you spend money on. Intel's stock cooler, it ain't much, but it'll take you all the way up to a 13700 non-K, so you might as well use it. Now we just need to plug in our CPU fan header, and while we're at it, let's do our case fans as well. We've got the rear one and the front one. Header here, yes. If you must have something bigger or especially quieter, there are plenty of options in the $15 to $40 price range. We're gonna have some of those linked down below. Or you could just take my advice and spend that on an adorable WAG hoodie for your four-legged friend. Just $24.99 at lttstore.com. Now we just gotta do a little bit of cable management. Here's our front USB 2 as well as our HD audio. Oh, so convenient. These come in little bricks. Easy peasy. They only go in one way. I can't say the same for our front panel connectors, but what I can say is everything is very helpfully labeled. Reset, right? Power switch. Last thing we've got is our front USB 3. Just be careful with this one. These pins are very fragile. Just make sure you got it aligned before you click it in. Time for power. This is going to be yet another controversial choice. We've gone with the Enermax Cyberbron 500 watt. It's non-modular, but it does at least have black cables, so it'll look nice. It's 80 plus bronze. It's got dual 6+2 PCIe connectors, so it's good for pretty much any performance tier and down GPU. But the issue is that you can get a functioning power supply for as little as like 20 bucks. The issue for us is that our options below this price point are either from unknown brands or from Thermaltake, whose entry-level lineup doesn't have a great reputation. And the thing is, given the risk of collateral damage when a power supply blows, from my point of view, you just can't afford not to spend a bit more here. Didn't really script anything for cable management here, so I guess we're just gonna wing it. Oh yeah, 8-pin. The 8-pin has no cable management cutout, so it's just gonna go here. Now this is gonna come right here. Cool, not bad, not bad. Yeah, just everybody just relax for a second, okay? That goes there. All right. And now it's pretty all right again. I had a segue into this written, but we're completely off script now, so I'm just gonna open by saying it's amazing what 200 bucks can buy again these days. Anything. The ASRock Challenger D Radeon RX 6600 has 8 gigs of VRAM, a core clock of 1626 megahertz, and a dual fan cooler. That's not bad considering that our only real criteria was, how much money do we have left? Okay, I'll take that one. At $200, you're pretty much looking at the GTX 1660 or the RX 6600. Between those two, the 6600 is much newer and way more powerful. See you later, NVIDIA. Not bad though, right?
No, it's fine.
I mean, it's not great, but not bad. Power's in and everything's looking pretty good on this side. Not as great on this side. We'll deal with that in a sec. First, I want to address some of the other options for GPUs. If you're not married to buying brand new, at $200, there are some very interesting options in the secondhand market, including 2080s, 1080 Ti's, 5700 XTs, and 6600 XTs. It's a lot more performance, but you do miss out on your warranty. Oh boy. Oh, I don't know if I want you to roll on this.
Too late, I pressed the button.
It's wow, that's something. Just, it's really good case. Wow. it's like that video of the bloated whale carcass where the guy like cuts it open and it's like, okay, let's fire it up. Oh, I closed the panels. Bad GBs, it's not gonna work. Adding everything up after a small mail-in rebate, I think it was like 10 bucks, right? We are just under our budget at $498. We're gonna have a link in the description to our PC part picker list. Before you click on that though, let's see if it's worth buying. This is freaking awesome. Sitting at 9%, 6% CPU usage with screen capture going. We're using the GPU for encoding, but it does still use a little bit of CPU. Let's fire up a game. We're gonna go hard. Going straight to Halo Infinite. I think we can go to high preset. Oh, restart of the game to take effect? No, I'm not gonna restart the game. Fine, whatever, 1080p medium preset. Still, we're looking at 80 FPS for our 1% lows. So if you're losing at that point, that's on you. That's good. They didn't even pick up my sniper. These guys suck. Definitely struggling a little bit sometimes. The real world experience is not quite on par with what the FPS numbers would suggest. It's almost like there's a little bit more input lag. Can't put my finger on it. No, I'm busy winning. I'm the top on my team. What do you mean that's what winning looks like? You want me to capture the flag? Fine, I'll capture the flag. I don't even care. Wait, 10 seconds. 10 seconds of what? We're almost out of time? Draw or, oh, we won. We won. What, we won? All right, Doom Eternal. Hey, but notice how quiet it is. Not bad, generic orange LED fans. And even that poor Intel stock heatsink when it's barely doing any work. Very quiet. I think Ultra Nightmare is probably a little aggressive for this. Let's try high. Wait, something's attacking me. Look, I don't have any audio, and this is running amazing. Okay, I probably could be running Ultra Nightmare right now. Okay, we're turning it up. It's way, way too good. Ultra Nightmare is a little much. That's not quite right. Oh crap, yeah, no, this is laggy. Let's try Nightmare, or let's try Ultra. How about Ultra? Okay, too easy. Now we're getting 150 frames per second. There has got to be a middle ground here. You know what? I bet it was a CPU issue. Even playing a single player game, 4 cores these days, very borderline. I'm hitting 80 plus, sometimes 90% CPU usage. Doom Eternal, right? In multiplayer games, there's a little bit more for the CPU to keep track of, and that can be more of a challenge. To be clear, it was very playable, but it's not going to be necessarily optimal. Wait, I only have a pistol now? Wait, what was that? Oh, was that warm up? What's happening right now? Oh, okay. Man,
oh no, you killed your own team.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is free for all. Okay, no, so I was supposed to do that. So that was epic then. Yeah, whatever. Dang it! Oh, come on. Come on! They're too good, I can't hit Meisel. I'm coming at him from every side. He's dominating me. Yeah, thank you for that, David. Anyway, we're getting anywhere from 150 to 300 frames per second. I'd say that's fairly playable. Not that it helps me not suck. No, I'm killing this guy. How did that miss? David, help me out here. Are these guys good or am I terrible?
That was pretty bad.
Who would have thought that Intel would be not just a good budget gaming option, but the budget gaming option? If we wanted to go AMD with this, we'd have to go all the way back to AM4, maybe a Ryzen 5600 on an A520M board or something like that. The point is, that's taking me into probably gonna regret this territory on the cheapness of the motherboard, and it would still cost me a bit more. And if I wanted to spend a bit more, this is still a great starting point. I could cheap out on my case and spend a little bit more. I could get a Core i5-13400 on the same platform. Or if I didn't want to spend anything at all, I could go for the segue to our sponsor.
Enlisted. Transport yourself onto the battlefield during iconic World War II campaigns with Enlisted, the